All right, Bills fans, gather around because we have so much to dive into ahead of the Buffalo Bills preseason finale, and there is no shortage of storylines that could have a major impact on the roster and early season matchups. First off, let's talk about Josh Allen, because the biggest news from the coaching staff this week is that he will not be playing at all during the preseason. Now, some people may wonder if this is a controversial decision, but when you really look at the history, it makes a lot of sense. Josh Allen has participated in every preseason to some extent throughout his career until now. But the reality is that his performance in preseason games has never been a reliable indicator of how he would perform in week one of the regular season. If we analyze his 6 starts following his rookie season, not including the rookie year, we can see a pattern of inconsistency. There were 3 week 1 games where he looked really sharp, against the Rams in 2022, against the Jets in 2020, and against the Cardinals last year. But then there were 3 games where he struggled, including that unforgettable Jets matchup in 2023 and the Steelers opener in a previous season. So, while he has had flashes of brilliance, preseason action hasn't been the key factor in predicting his early season success. Taking into account that he's entering his 8th season as the reigning NFL most valuable player, and considering the continuity on the offensive side of the ball, it's not unreasonable for the coaching staff to want to protect him and avoid unnecessary risks. Adding in some depth pieces like Josh Palmer and other receivers may provide new options, but the core group remains largely the same. The main focus, ultimately, will be how Josh Allen performs against Baltimore in Week 1, and not playing the preseason is unlikely to hurt his readiness. And there's a clear benefit in knowing he will avoid the risk of injury during the game, which is always a huge plus. Turning attention to the defensive side of the ball, the Bills have faced some injury concerns that could have a ripple effect on their Week 1 lineup. Tre'Davious White's recent injury has raised eyebrows. Reports indicate that he hopped off the field on one leg during practice, was evaluated by trainers, and later transported in a cart due to the long walk back to the field house. While the severity of the injury is still unclear, it does put the Bills in a position where they need to evaluate depth and potential replacements. With Maxwell Harrison already sidelined due to an LCL sprain, the Bills are looking deeper into the cornerback rotation for the early season, and the decision could involve Dane Jackson, Jamarcus Ingram, or rookie Dorian Strong stepping into a more prominent role. Dane Jackson has experience with 28 starts for the team and would be the most logical option if White cannot go. But the coaching staff will want to assess all options carefully, especially considering the importance of limiting exposure to injury while still evaluating players' readiness. The preseason finale could serve as a critical evaluation for these defensive backs, determining who gets key reps and ultimately shapes the depth chart for the first weeks of the season. Injuries are part of football, but they test the team's ability to adapt and prepare for the challenges of a full regular season. And how the Bills manage these situations will speak volumes about the coaching staff strategy and trust in their depth players. Speaking of defensive evaluations, there are also key decisions at the defensive line that could influence early rotations. The battle at defensive end between Landon Jackson and Javon Solomon has been a storyline through the preseason. Both players have received reps on special teams and during defensive drills, and the question remains about who will step up to take meaningful snaps once the regular season begins. Landon Jackson has shown growth over the course of the preseason, improving his balance as a run defender and pass rusher, while Solomon brings pass rushing upside but has struggled against the run at times. Understanding how the coaching staff plans to integrate them into the rotation, especially with other starters such as Rousseau, Boza, and Epinesa contributing, will be fascinating. At defensive tackle, the competition continues to be compelling with TJ Sanders and Deion Walker showing potential, while Dwayne Carter, entering his 2nd season as a 3rd-round pick, has yet to firmly secure his spot. Will the Bills prioritize experience and immediate impact over potential, or will Carter be given a leash to prove he can contribute? In the nose tackle position, Zion Log could emerge as a more dependable option depending on preseason performance. Each snap these players get is valuable in establishing the pecking order and Saturday night's game will provide critical insight into how the Bills plan to allocate defensive responsibilities for the first weeks of the season. Linebacker is another position where intrigue runs deep. The Bills have a solid foundation with Terrell Bernard, Matt Milano, Dorian Williams, and Joe Andre, while Shaq Thompson brings leadership and versatility that could make him the fifth linebacker. For the sixth linebacker, Jimmy Sharlow, Kud Jenkins, and Edwin Ilfosio are all competing for a role, and the preseason finale could be pivotal for Sharlow, who has been impactful on special teams and has flashed on defense. The staff must decide whether to carry 5 or 6 linebackers, and Sharlow's performance could be the deciding factor. Meanwhile, Cole Bishop's role will be evaluated, not necessarily to prove he is ready to start alongside Taylor Rapp, but to give him game experience that will allow the coaching staff to assess whether he can consistently contribute in critical situations. Every rep matters in these final preseason games, not just for starters, but for depth players looking to cement a roster spot or gain valuable experience before the regular season kickoff. Special team storylines are equally compelling, particularly as Tyler Bass returns from injury to resume kicking duties. After a period of recovery, the Bills will be looking for him to regain rhythm and confidence in handling field goals, extra points, and kickoffs, because his performance is crucial for consistency as the season begins. Punt returns will also be under scrutiny, with Brandon Codington having handled returns in previous games and the team evaluating whether there is a legitimate competitor for his role or if the position is effectively settled. The preseason finale will provide clarity on who the Bills trust in these key special teams positions, which can often be the difference in close games early in the season. On offense, the wide receiver room is beginning to take shape, with Keon Coleman, Kil Shakir, and Josh Palmer firmly establishing themselves in the top 3 spots. Beyond that, the 4th, 5th, and 6th spots could be filled by Curtis Samuel, Tyrell Shavers, Elijah Moore, or KJ Hamler, and the competition is fierce. Samuel brings experience and a specific skill set that the Bills have relied on in clutch situations, while Shavers has been consistently productive during the preseason. Moore and Hamler are pushing for a chance to secure a roster spot, and the preseason finale is likely their final opportunity to make an impression and solidify where they fit in the team's plans. The offensive line presents another area of scrutiny, with Cedric Van Prangringer's potential absence opening doors for Kendrick Green or Danfany to earn a place on the initial 53-man roster. Both players are versatile, capable of playing center or guard, and their performance in the preseason finale will be crucial in determining who steps into that role. Meanwhile, Tylen Grail's status coming off concussion protocol adds another layer of uncertainty, and the coaching staff must weigh game reps against protecting him from unnecessary risk. At tight end, the top 3 are largely set with Kincaid, Knox, and Ha, but undrafted free agent KKI Lou has made an impression, potentially influencing practice squad decisions. Finally, quarterback depth beyond Josh Allen remains a topic of interest. Mitch Trubisky could serve as the backup, and how the Bills handle his game reps in the preseason finale will influence readiness for Week 1. With Allen unavailable, distributing snaps between other quarterbacks like Mike White and Shane Buechele could provide valuable insight into readiness and depth heading into the season opener. The coaching staff's focus on evaluation during the preseason finale is evident, and it will set the tone for roster decisions, playing time allocations, and overall preparation for a challenging regular season ahead. This is shaping up to be a critical week for the Bills across every unit: offense, defense, and special teams. Preseason finales always carry heightened importance, particularly when starters are held out and depth players are fighting for their spots. Fans should expect to see a mix of cautious management of key starters, like Josh Allen, and intense evaluation of younger players and role players will define the team's depth chart. Every snap, every rep, and every performance matters, because by the time the regular season begins, the Bills need to have clarity across every position group, from the starting lineup to the key contributors off the bench. Injuries, positional battles, and roster decisions all converge at this moment, creating a narrative rich with anticipation and strategic maneuvering as the team looks to set itself up for success in the early weeks of the season. The preseason finale is not just about a game. It's a chance to finalize evaluations, see who steps up under pressure, and set expectations for a team that has high aspirations and a talented roster ready to compete at a championship level. Depth, versatility, and preparedness will be the themes this week. Players who have been waiting for their chance to shine will have that opportunity, and fans will get a clear picture of the pieces that could define the Bills' identity this season. Evaluating defensive line rotations, determining linebacker roles, solidifying special teams contributors, and confirming wide receiver depth are all vital steps before the regular season begins. The coaching staff's decisions in this final game of the preseason will provide insight into how aggressively they plan to manage player workload, how they intend to navigate injuries, and who they believe is ready to contribute immediately versus who requires more development. Each of these evaluations feeds directly into the strategic approach for the first few games, where every decision can impact the team's chances of success. The Bills' preseason finale is shaping up to be a game where evaluations and performance intertwine. From assessing rookies like Dorian Strong to measuring the readiness of veterans returning from injury, the staff must balance caution with opportunity, ensuring that key players are protected while still gaining valuable insights. Watching how the wide receiver core, offensive line, defensive backs, linebackers, and special teams contributors perform under game conditions will provide a blueprint for the coaching staff as they finalize the roster and allocate playing time heading into the regular season. It's a delicate balancing act, one that requires experience, judgment, and a deep understanding of each player's capabilities and potential. In essence, the preseason finale for the Bills is less about the scoreboard and more about the evaluation process. Coaches will be looking at how players respond under pressure, how well they execute assignments, and how depth can be leveraged to maintain performance levels if injuries occur. Every play will carry weight, as decisions made this week will affect the team's preparation, strategy, and overall readiness as they move into the regular season. The stakes are high for those on the roster bubble, and the coaching staff will be carefully monitoring every detail to ensure that when Week 1 arrives, the Buffalo Bills are as prepared, balanced, and competitive as possible. The focus is everywhere, from ensuring that Josh Allen stays healthy, to seeing which defensive backs are ready to step into larger roles, to confirming the readiness of offensive linemen and skill position players who will be critical in early matchups. Each unit has questions to answer, and the preseason finale is the perfect stage for that evaluation. Every rep counts, every snap matters, and the performances in this game could shape the trajectory of the season. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. Whispers have been circulating around the league all week, and today, they've finally turned into headlines that no fan could ignore. Myles Garrett has officially signed with the Buffalo Bills, a move that is already sending shockwaves through the NFL. Sources close to the team hint that the negotiations were long and complex, involving multiple parties, contract restructuring, and a behind-the-scenes tug-of-war between rival franchises, all culminating in a deal that many analysts are calling one of the most audacious acquisitions of the offseason. The transformation this could bring to the Bills' defensive line cannot be overstated. Garrett, known for his explosive pass-rushing skills, unmatched athleticism, and leadership both on and off the field, arrives in Buffalo with expectations sky-high, and the rumor mill suggests that the front office sees him as the cornerstone of a team poised to make a serious playoff push. Fans, insiders, and social media alike have been buzzing nonstop, dissecting every angle, from potential scheme adjustments to the chemistry with existing stars. Even veteran players within the locker room are reportedly both excited and intrigued, aware that Garrett's presence could shift the balance of power within the division. Analysts are debating endlessly whether this move signals a full-scale transformation of the team's strategy, perhaps hinting at a more aggressive defensive philosophy that could dominate opponents in the upcoming season. Speculation around how Garrett will fit into the Bills' system has reached a fever pitch, with murmurs suggesting that the coaching staff is already reimagining defensive schemes to maximize his impact. His arrival is rumored to spark not only an on-field revolution, but also a cultural shift within the organization. Sources claim that Garrett's leadership style, his relentless work ethic, and his ability to galvanize teammates could become a defining force in Buffalo, influencing younger players and veterans alike. Discussions among insiders hint that Garrett's influence may extend beyond traditional defensive roles, with some suggesting that he could act as a mentor to emerging stars, shaping the next generation of talent in a way that could leave a lasting imprint on the franchise. Fans are reportedly thrilled at the prospect, with merchandise pre-orders allegedly soaring and social media accounts exploding with speculation, reaction videos, and celebratory posts. The buzz has reached a point where local sports bars and fan communities are described as nearly vibrating with excitement, debating scenarios in which Garrett's presence alters the trajectory of key matchups against rival teams. Some rumors even speculate about Garrett participating in offensive drills, not to play, but as part of his integration into team practices, showing his willingness to immerse himself fully in every aspect of the squad's preparation. The narrative forming in Buffalo suggests that Garrett isn't merely a signing. He's a signal, a statement that the Bills are serious about reshaping their identity and redefining expectations. The media frenzy surrounding the announcement has fueled a deluge of hot takes, insider tidbits, and speculative commentary, much of it hinting at a ripple effect throughout the league. Rumors suggest that competing teams are now reconsidering their defensive rosters, fearing that the Bills may have just secured a transformative talent capable of altering the competitive landscape. Some insiders claim that Garrett's influence could inspire other high-profile free agents to explore Buffalo as a destination, creating a domino effect that could reshape the team's roster beyond just one superstar acquisition. Reports circulating in fan circles also suggest that Garrett's presence might impact contract negotiations for existing players, as the team seeks to build around its new defensive anchor. Social media is reportedly ablaze with conjecture, memes, and predictive analyses, with fans dissecting every potential scenario, from how Garrett might intimidate opposing quarterbacks to the chemistry he could develop with fellow defensive standouts. Behind closed doors, the coaching staff is rumored to be sketching new formations, exploring how to maximize Garrett's skill set while maintaining balance across the defensive line. Even casual observers are drawn into the speculation, with some betting circles reportedly adjusting odds based on the perceived impact of Garrett's signing. In short, the atmosphere surrounding the Bills has become charged with anticipation, and the buzz is palpable enough to suggest that the league's narrative for the upcoming season may have just shifted overnight. The locker room, according to insiders, is reportedly in a state of electrified anticipation as players speculate on how Garrett's presence might change team dynamics. Sources hint at behind-the-scenes interactions, with teammates eager to understand the mentality, preparation, and intensity that Garrett brings to every practice session. Rumors suggest that his onboarding process includes rigorous drills, personalized coaching sessions, and team-building exercises designed to integrate him seamlessly into the squad's existing culture. Analysts are already speculating that Garrett's influence will extend beyond the defensive line, shaping game day strategies, sideline communications, and even motivational approaches to high-pressure scenarios. Fans, too, are immersed in the excitement, allegedly creating viral content imagining Garrett making game-changing plays, dominating rival quarterbacks, and redefining the Bills' defensive identity. Local commentators are reportedly working overtime to interpret the signing, drawing connections between Garrett's arrival and potential playoff implications, while fan forums buzz with endless hypotheticals about his impact on every matchup. Even opponents are reportedly aware of the shift, with whispers suggesting that rival teams are now adjusting offensive strategies in anticipation of Garrett's disruptive presence. The narrative forming is one of transformation, dominance, and a renewed sense of possibility for a franchise that appears ready to leverage this acquisition as a catalyst for a new era, both on and off the field. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.